The most important part of this also is that the ego lives in the past and the future. Because again, in the past couldn't find himself, so it doesn't have time. He's looking for something in the future to find himself. So this moment is the ego's biggest enemy and the nightmare. It's a nightmare, this moment, present moment. So the most important thing is that from that egoic self, if you're trying to be in the present moment, I have some news for you. Yes, you experience present moment like everybody else. I get a lot of emails about this. How can I be in the present moment? My answer is, as long as you have that egoic self in you and you're identified with that, being in the present moment is a nightmare. It's another chore, another drag, another problem on top of your problems. That's what it is. So remember that, and another thing that ego likes is a problem. Ego likes problem. So if you have absolutely no problem, it tries to be in the present moment, and it cannot be in the present moment, and it creates a problem and aggravation for himself. So he gets aggravated. How come I cannot be in the present moment? Teach me how to do it. So this is, I just want you to know this character in you. You have to know that, identify that, recognize it. And any action that comes from that source, you should catch it right away. So
just be aware of it, you mean?
Absolutely.
Catch it. When you say catch it.
Catch it. Absolutely. Be aware of it. And another thing that ego has is just keeps waiting. It keeps waiting and waiting. It has a short-term ratings and has long-term ratings. The short-term is maybe you're looking for to go to a vacation 2 months from now. That's a short-term. It's just waiting for that thing to happen. Today is not good. This moment is not good. It is just such a, like a nuisance. This moment has to go so I can reach to that particular day that I like to go for vacation. It's waiting for that. Or the long-term waiting is just, I just want to retire. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to live. This is how I want to do. That is the long-term waiting. So this ego is never here. It's never now. Cannot be now, because again, it's self-seeking. It's not complete yet. The story of this ego is not complete yet. So it wants to complete itself sometime in future. So that's why it cannot be in present moment. If you say, try to be in present moment, according to ego, present moment is a waste of time. It's boring.
Exactly.
It's nothing to offer. This present moment is nothing to offer. Okay. Meanwhile, when I teach you how to do in meditation with open eyes, when you practice that, you recognize how deep and how joyful present moment could be when the mind stops, when the ego stops. You will see so you see it for yourself. Don't take it from me. You would go and practice it, and you would contact me and you would tell me about it. But the most important thing, that I cannot teach this methodology to you until I introduce to you this false character of egoic self that is residing in you and me and all of us. This egoic self would not go away until you find your true self. Once you find that true self, that true self, that universal self, which is in all of us, would come up and melts away this character. So you're gonna be in a different realm of being. You don't need to do anything. There's nothing to be done. That's what enlightenment is all about. Once you reach to that essence, that your true self, that universal self, that would melt away the egoic self, that false self that was within us. But before I get into that, I like to make an example that Rumi is giving us as a beautiful, beautiful poetry. I like to share that with you. He says, This is about, again, the egoic self. He says, مرغ در بالا و پران سایه‌اش، می‌دود در خاک پران مرغش. ابلهی صیاد آن سایه شود، می‌دود آنجا که بیمایه شود. بیخبر که این عکس آن مرغ هواست، بیخبر که اصل این سایه کجاست. This is the analogy. This is beautiful. It says, there is this bird who's flying in the sky. There is this idiot on the ground trying to chase the shadow of this bird on the ground. He runs after his shadow all his life, and he runs out of all of his resources, not knowing that this was the shadow of that bird, not knowing where is this shadow is coming from. This analogy is about our ego. Our ego is chasing after things that is outside of ourselves. All those shadows that we hit and we think that they are success, when we go and touch it, is that a bird? Do you see a bird in the shadow? It's not. This person goes after these shadows all his life, not knowing that this was not a real thing. This was the shadow of that bird. And he never knew that where that origin residing. You're all after that joy, that happiness. But we are looking for it somewhere else, somewhere outside of ourselves. Meanwhile, all of that joy, peace, ecstasy is residing within. So the direction is this way.